This is a book I found in a bookshop in France and loved its spooky cover. I knew just discussing the cover alone would hook in my Year 3-4 class as they tried to predict what the book was about. The language is simple and the word sombre, which is a near cognate for the English sombre, is repeated multiple times throughout. We could discuss the word histoire in French and what word it reminded us of in English. We might practice the sound wa so they don't confuse histoire and pronounce it as an anglicised histoire, which is a common mistake. Très is a word that many will be familiar with from the phrase très bien. As the word sombre is repeated multiple times throughout the book, it is ideal for pupils to repeat during reading aloud. The first time reading through, I would read the French, and pupils could follow, look at the illustrations, and try to work out what is happening. A strategy I might use, depending on the class, is to do some revisiting and or pre-learning of key nouns. If you have target language labels around your school, some of the nouns may already be familiar to pupils, such as une porte, une salle. By this page, pupils may feel confident at repeating sombre. They may even be desperate to join in with the word sombre, which I wouldn't discourage. After all this tension has been built up, I would stop reading and ask pupils their predictions for what was going to happen next. I might tell them that there is only one more page to go, and depending on the answers they have suggested, I might want to remind them that on the cover is a big black cat. If pupils can't remember the word for a mouse, the pictorial clue will help. At this point, the tension is released and we all laugh in relief, but maybe not the mouse. Now I will go back to the beginning and there would be an expectation for all pupils to chorus the word sombre every time it appeared in the story. It may be useful to recap the sounds on and the rolling first. Other key phrases used in the story could be exploited here. Il était, it was, or as it's used here, il était une fois, once upon a time, and il y avait, there was. Pupils may be familiar with the present tense forms of both these verbs, so it is useful to talk to them about the tense which is usually used in storybooks. Storybooks are usually written in the past. There are also some important prepositions used throughout the book. This could be a whole lesson in itself. The pictorial clues will support understanding of these words initially, unless you want to exploit them more fully and pre-teach. For reference, they are all underlined in this presentation. At some point, you'll probably want to cover up sombre with the expectation that pupils will continue to chorus the missing words. If your learning focus is on prepositions, you could cover those instead. This, of course, is more challenging. Equally, to check understanding, you could cover the verbs and see if pupils can complete the story with the correct words. Once pupils gain in confidence and familiarity, you can omit more than one type of word. And of course, this type of close activity can be done orally as a full class, orally in pairs, or as a written exercise. You can then increase the challenge by taking away as many clues as you like, and giving pupils initial letters to see if they can fill in the gaps. In this next example, I have removed all the vowels. Pupils could now rewrite the story using a model or a frame. They could use dictionaries and substitute new words, for example, different animals, different locations. They could change the whole tone of the story and substitute sombre for a different adjective. Be careful with agreements. For example, beau, belle, or less problematically, bizarre, or drôle. If you would like to play the story rather than read it yourself, there are YouTube links. And there are other resources freely available on the internet for follow-up work. Email me at k.ray@eastriding.gov.uk for further details. Here are some examples of a workbook. Here are some resources to an alternative book you may wish to use.
Bonne chance!